Dear Ukrainians, ladies and gentlemen, just now we have heard our state anthem, which was created more than 150 years ago. It is inspiring, and it inspires millions today. We are standing now in the center of free Ukrainian, our Kyiv city, closer to the St. Michael's Monastery. This beauty has been founded 9 centuries ago. All of that is taking place during a very important day, the day of Christianity of Kyivan, Rus-Ukraine. Historical event for Christianity and the whole Europe, which has become which took place here at this place during on those hills more than 1,000 years ago, during the times of our Volodymyr the Great, and its symbol, the trident, our state emblem, coat of arms, and it is on the chevrons of our warriors who are here now defending Ukraine today. We thank our warriors. All of this and hundreds of other examples of such continuity is more than beautiful parallels and certainly not coincidence, but a natural connection between all generations of Ukrainians, an energy that has existed for centuries within the unbroken history of our spirit, our state, and Europe, between all Ukrainians who have been on this our land, who are on this land now, and who will be on this land. That is what this day, important day, is about. The day of the baptism of Rus-Ukraine, the day of our statehood. Distinguished guests, presentees, citizens, all of our soldiers, medics, rescuers, clergy, our officials, our parliamentarians, Mr. Chairman of the Verkhovna Rada, Mr. President of the European Commission, dear Ursula, thank you that all of you are with us today. Thank you so much for that. All the distinguished guests of our state who are sharing Statehood Day here with us in Kyiv city together with our people and Ukraine. Esteemed President of Romania, dear Nikushor. Esteemed President of Moldova, dear Maya. Esteemed President of Albania, dear Bayram. Esteemed Prime Minister of Croatia, dear Andrei. Esteemed Prime Minister of Slovenia, dear Yanis, highly esteemed friends of Ukraine from Spain, Montenegro, North Macedonia, Bulgaria, France, Special Representative of the Pope, Cardinal Zuppi. Thank you for being here. All of you are here with Ukraine. Thank you. And the distance between our countries does not affect the closeness of our states and closeness of our peoples. Your presence is proof that politically, spiritually, and simply on a human level, what's important on the human level, we are all fighting for the same thing, for a Europe without war, which is impossible without a strong and peaceful Ukraine. Thank you for being with us on this day. The 15th of July, Ukraine marks Statehood Day. We are proud that we are the heirs of Kyivan Rus, the Cossack state, and that we have 1,000-year experience of state building, 1,000-year experience of courage, of the desire to live in freedom, independently, to go on our own way, and to be who we are, to be Ukraine. To be Ukrainians, and we are proud of what everyone sees throughout this time of full-scale war. This is the 1,000-year character of Ukraine. Ladies and gentlemen, Ukraine respects its history, remembers every joy and every pain our people have had to go through. But we do not live constantly looking back. We are not focused only on the history that was. We are working on the history of Ukraine that will be and which is now, on a state that will be capable, on an independence that will be guaranteed. We are building precisely the kind of state that has enough strength and self-respect to equally and at the same time preserve its heritage and implement ambitious plans. A Ukraine that values the past and has believed in its own future. A state that is not afraid of the word first. And does, for the first time, what until recently could only be a dream. We are creating this reality of unchanging respect for us, for Ukraine, for our people. A few hours ago, we returned from France, where for the first time, Ukrainian soldiers took part in the festive military parade on the Champs-Élysées. For the first time. For the first time, our combat pilots flew over Paris on Mirages. For the first time, I would like to thank President of France, Emmanuel, for this invitation, for this honor, and this respectful attitude, which I am certain Ukraine has fully earned by right. Through its courage, its struggle and its readiness to take on leadership in processes that will define Europe's future. Ukraine and Europe will for the first time build an anti-ballistic shield together, a historic project in which Ukraine is not an observer, but one of the leaders, uniting countries and Europe's strongest defense enterprises. The Freya project has begun. We will do everything to build a European anti-ballistic system, uniting all European anti-ballistic capabilities, so that the sky over our peoples is protected, so that dictators cannot dictate how free people in Europe should live. So that the lives of people in Ukraine and in every European state do not depend on whether Putin and those like him have ballistic weapons or not. Towards this same goal, Ukraine is fighting for its own protection overseas as well. Ukraine is for the first time approaching the possibility of producing missiles for Patriots and may become the third state in history to have this agreement and this privilege. I would like to thank the President of the United States for a political decision that is already historic and that will help save lives of thousands of people in Ukraine. And it is very important that on this path, for our sides, our teams, everything works out, and that Patriot missiles marked "Made in Ukraine" become a reality as soon as possible. And this is exactly the reality that will bring closer the security and the victory of life in Ukraine, when our people, our children, our cities and squares, and all this beauty you see around you now will certainly see calm days and nights. For this same reason, Ukraine is also building up its own strength. Ukraine is for the first time building its own ballistic missiles and deep strike weapons, and these are not just developments, they are the real force that is already working and covering distances previously unreachable. 2,884 kilometers. That is the distance from here to the Omsk oil refinery. A historic distance. A historic precision. We thank everyone who's done that. And unlike Russia, which wages war against residential buildings, schools and churches, Ukraine strikes at the sponsors of Putin in this war and at the tools that help him kill people. There are no longer any coordinates on the territory of evil that are out of reach of Ukrainian justice. 1,000 of our drones per day, dozens of their refineries, tankers of the Shadow Fleet, Russia's military infrastructure, all have felt it. do not encroach on Ukrainian statehood. Every day we see these results. Every day we see this precision. Some say that with modern technology we are pushing Russia back into the Middle Ages. Some recall Napoleon, in whose time Moscow burned. But for us, I would like everyone to know, for Ukraine, what matters is not pathos, but results. Our main goal is not a Russia without gasoline, but a Ukraine without Russia. A Ukraine without war, a Ukraine with Europe, and a Ukraine and Europe without the Moscow threat. I would like to thank every leader who does everything possible for our common security, who does everything necessary for Ukraine. SAMP-Ts, Iris-Ts, NASAMS, Patriots, Hawks. Lots of that. We thank our partners. All the strength that is now helping Ukraine is invaluable, undoubtedly. All of that is not a noble gesture. The world sees who is truly just in this war and who truly wants peace. It is Ukraine, a state that did not just wait for help, which is so important, but united the world for the sake of life, and learned to rely, above all, on its own strength, on itself, on its own people, who every day add new reasons for pride, who have made the word first for the first time our brother in arms. I remember when I first announced publicly the plan of the state, 1 million drones a year. There was a lot of skepticism everywhere, both outside and within, and now we can state we are making 10 million drones a year. 10 million. And it will be 20. We will do this together with our partners and once again prove the success of the defense industry, Ukrainian partner, European. While I have been speaking, our robotic complexes have been carrying out missions at the front line. Super important. In total, there have already been tens of thousands of such missions. For the first time, Ukraine has fundamentally changed the battlefield. And this is much more than cool Hollywood stories about robots. This is about saving lives, the lives of soldiers. And that is reality tens of thousands of times over. The same applies to our interceptors. There is simply a fact. Ukrainian interceptors are already shooting down at least 90% of Shaheeds. And there is what lies between the lines and is very significant: people. Our people who continue to live. When each such target from Russia does not reach its goal, when someone's life remains intact. At the start of the war, the Russian warship stood near Snake Island, Zmyny Island, and we remember that, we are reminded about that for so many times, arrogantly ordered our soldiers to lay down their weapons and heard exactly where it should go. Today that phrase sounds again, rather often, in a different language, the language of the precision of our naval drones, the language of thunder with which Neptune, Harpoon and every one of our weapons justly punish the occupiers, and the language of sanctions, which are hitting Russia hard and depriving Putin of funds for this war. All of this together is our shared work, our shared word we managed. This is Ukraine today, a state that was given 72 hours, and yet it has endured 12 years of Russian aggression and 1,603 days of full-scale war. Russia started it and called it a special military operation. Even in this, they wanted to humiliate Ukrainian statehood, to show the supposed incapacity and weakness of Ukraine. Their plan to seize us was calculated for 3 days, as if it were enough to carry out some operation on some land that had supposedly been given away by someone. Today, even Russian state propagandists admit that Ukraine is a strong state that Russia cannot defeat and will never defeat. A state that Europe needs, that NATO needs, a state that does not wait but creates, that does not ask but offers a unique experience, technologies and capabilities, a unique security and political partnership. And Ukraine today takes equal pride in events that happened here more than 1,000 years ago, and in operations carried out by the state more than 1,000 kilometers from our border. All of this is our state, Ukraine 2026. The state that at the same time understands perfectly well that any technology is made valuable by people, without whom no innovation would have any meaning. People without whom Ukraine itself would have no meaning, because without these people there would be no statehood, no freedom, no independence. These are all the people without whom Ukraine would not be Ukraine. Our people who work every day and every night for the sake of the state. Our cities, our strong Kharkiv city, which has proven that geographical closeness to Russia does not mean mental closeness. And life in Ukrainian Kharkiv city prevails every day. Our strong Dnipro city, which never stops, traditionally drives the economy forward and saves thousands of wounded soldiers, heroic soldiers. Our strong Odessa city, our sea gates, our glorious city on the shore of our Black Sea. Odessa city, which today survived yet another brutal strike. Russian missiles against ordinary buildings. My condolences to all the relatives of those killed. Our strong Sumy city, our Chernihiv, Kherson, Zaporizhia, Mykolaiv, which despite everything hold on, live, build and teach children, unfortunately, in underground schools. But fortunately, they do teach, unbroken, sturdy, tough. And every Ukrainian city, community, every village where every morning people find the strength within themselves to work and create. And it doesn't matter whether they are making weapons or baking bread. All of this is our shared work, which strengthens the state and brings peace closer. And for all of this, for every such moment, we are grateful to our defenders, to all the security and defense forces, to everyone, man and woman, who defends our land, protects lives, upholds law and order in Ukraine, holds the front, closes the sky, fights the enemy every day and every night, so that this Statehood Day and all the future days of the future of Ukraine are possible. And with great honor, I want to award such people of ours today. Glory to Ukraine!